quality, or lack thereof, can only take a movie so far. And without a potent marketing campaign, even the best film will struggle to make a dent with audiences. And so it's little surprise that studios will often resort to unconventional, attention-grabbing techniques to get eyes on their movies, resorting to blatant publicity stunts, shameless mudslinging at other movies, and getting dementedly creative simply to light up social media chatter. With more movies than ever being released every single year, capturing a slice of the audience mindshare has never been more difficult, and so it follows that studios have had to let their freak flag fly in order to stand out in a sea of movies competing for the same piece of the pie. I'm Gareth with Will from Whatculture, and these are insane movie marketing campaigns too wild to comprehend. Mission Impossible 3. Perhaps the single best-known aspect of the Mission Impossible franchise, apart from Tom Cruise running that is the classic "this message will self-destruct" shtick, which Paramount ambitiously, if foolishly, leaned into with a marketing stunt for the third film. Paramount commissioned marketing firm Allied Advertising to fit 4,500 LA newspaper vending machines with devices which would play the series' distinctive theme tune whenever somebody opened the machine to collect a newspaper. Unfortunately, in a number of locations, people understandably mistook the device for bombs, resulting in one machine being blown up by the bomb squad. Elsewhere, a Veterans Affairs medical center had to be evacuated for 90 minutes after someone called in a bomb scare for a nearby vending machine. Ultimately, the US Attorney's Office planned to sue Paramount, Allied Advertising, and the Los Angeles Times for conspiring to pull off the stunt, though the matter was eventually settled out of court for $75,000. Regardless of the botched stunt, Mission Impossible 3 grossed a respectable $398.5 million worldwide.
AI, artificial intelligence. What started as an innocuous fake credit in a couple of film trailers turned into a labyrinthine web of storytelling. A story of murder, sentient intelligence, and a future that was as compelling as it was horrifying. Developed by a team at Microsoft, the AI viral marketing campaign was the first alternate reality game to immerse its players in the world of the film. This campaign took the Blair Witch campaign's treatment of the film's reality as the real one, and went on to step above that effort by actively engaging the movie-going public to solve the mysteries and familiarize themselves with the world they would soon experience in theaters. The world building the campaign actually did was invaluable, as was the progress it made for viral movie marketing and ARGs to become viable promotion strategies.
Tenet. Hailed before its release as the film primed to save cinema, Tenet's aggressive marketing campaign saw Warner Bros. Insisting on posters and trailers that the film was only in theaters, a tactic which some criticized as tasteless in the middle of a global health crisis. After all, encouraging people to head out and see the only event film in cinemas, especially in the US, which has responded particularly poorly to the health crisis, is arguably irresponsible at best, if not downright reckless. However, Nolan and Warner Bros.' steadfast commitment rather backfired, given the film's poor commercial showing in North America, not only making Tenet a box office bomb, but effectively scaring every other major blockbuster film out of 2020 entirely. Yikes.
28 days later. Let it be known that you don't always need a fancy gimmick to sell a film, especially if it's one that Stephen King just happens to enjoy. Danny Boyle's 2002 masterpiece had such a fan in Stephen King that he once bought out a whole showing at a theater he was visiting, just so he could give out tickets to passing people to get them on board. This was already after positive word of mouth was filtering back to America from the film's native England, which led to some film festival activity and ultimately a successful summer release courtesy of Fox Searchlight. On top of Mr. King's generous screening gesture, there were several advanced screenings in select markets which dared audiences to wear red and see what happens. For a film that burst onto the horror scene with the promise of accelerated zombie-like creatures, this dare was not to be taken lightly. Also, it never hurts when your film's trailer is attached to X2, X-Men United, one of the most successful blockbusters of the year.
Child's Play. Child's Play remake wasn't all that memorable, but the marketing campaign for it sure was. Child's Play was set to release on June 21st, 2019. The very same day as Toy Story 4. And so the movie's marketing team released a series of posters showing Chucky violently murdering the beloved characters from Pixar's iconic animated franchise. Some of the more discomforting deaths include Rex being burned with a lighter, Ham getting smashed with a hammer, Buzz being shot with a laser gun, and perhaps worst of all, Slinky getting roasted on an open fire because a hot dog, get it? However, a Photoshop-savvy Toy Story fan fought back, mocking up their own impressively gnarly poster depicting the toys getting revenge on Chucky. As much as these posters are clearly parody, Disney is notoriously protective of their IP, so it's pretty impressive that United Artists managed to get away with this.
Paranormal Activity. Paranormal Activity's success mirrored the earlier success that the Blair Witch had once attained. The found footage genre had experienced a slight boom, and the stakes were being raised with each new shaky cam-laden spooktacular. Paranormal Activity took a simple approach to putting itself out there, and all it took was some hidden camera footage and the power of the internet. Advertisements for the film would focus more on actual audience reaction to the film's scares, as opposed to actual footage from the film itself. When those commercials hit the airwaves, you actually saw a film's effect on an audience, not just a bunch of quotes from standard press critics, which you've seen a million times before. But also, in a clever twist, Paramount launched a campaign throughout Eventful.com where people anxious to see the film could demand it to make an appearance in a theater near them. Now, audiences were not only energized by seeing how people reacted to the film, but they were given a degree of input as to whether they'd see the film or not. It became a competition to see that ghost movie those people in the commercial were so freaked out about. Wave by wave, the film would expand according to the polling numbers on Eventful, creating a rolling cascade of buzz that catapulted an unknown film into a franchise that's still running to this day.
Cloverfield. The marketing for the original Cloverfield was nothing short of genius, bathed in a fiercely guarded sense of mystery as it was. The first teaser trailer for the monster movie was released in front of Transformers in the summer of 2007, showing the Statue of Liberty's head being thrown into the New York streets by an unknown entity. The teaser provided no additional context, only noting that the film was produced by mystery merchant J.J. Abrams and would be releasing on January 18, 2008. It was totally unheard of for a movie to try and sell itself without a title. Yet almost immediately after Transformers came out, moviegoers became obsessed with trying to figure out the teaser's secrets. Cloverfield's entire viral marketing campaign, complete with an absurdly comprehensive alternate reality game, was extremely successful in drumming up excitement for the film. Over 4 months passed before a second teaser was released in front of Beowulf, which finally confirmed the title to be Cloverfield, and that it was an original monster movie IP. Largely thanks to its incredible, wildly original marketing, and the fact it's a damn good movie too, Cloverfield was a significant critical and commercial success.
The Matrix. During the Super Bowl in 1999, a random film ad ran that would ask a groundbreaking, memorable question that would be solved over the course of 4 years and 3 films. What is The Matrix? A random flash of imagery, both organic and mechanical, and to top it all off, we got our first look at bullet time. If nothing else stuck out in your mind, it was the fact that Keanu Reeves could dodge slow-motion bullet trails. It was an effect so influential, it helped make the Max Payne games just that much more memorable, and would lend itself to parody throughout countless media. But ultimately, it all came down to the fact that they showed off their best tricks in that simple Super Bowl teaser, but did so in a manner that didn't spoil the movie either. The best part about the campaign is that there wasn't all that much to it, just a couple of trailers and a hard, surprise sell on the film's potential. By the end of the Super Bowl spot, you could practically hear the fans tripping over themselves to get to a computer and log on to whatisthematrix.com, which would be used in pushing teaser materials for the sequels a couple of years later.
The Blair Witch Project. Viral movie marketing as we know it basically wouldn't exist without the Blair Witch Project, which offered up one of the most creative and controversial campaigns in cinema history. Basically, Artisan Entertainment commissioned a marketing firm to create an incredibly convincing online paper trail, complete with false news reports and staged interviews, suggesting that the film's 3 young leads were actually missing for real, and that the found footage film was entirely authentic. The IMDb pages for actors Heather Donahue, Michael C. Williams, and Joshua Leonard even listed them as missing or presumed dead for a year. while the trio were also instructed to avoid making major public appearances during the film's release. Though it might seem a tad silly today that such an obvious ruse could fool anyone, 1999 was a very different time, long before audiences en masse were savvy to viral marketing tricks. It was nothing short of a creative masterstroke, and doubtless helped the film become a must-see event, leading it to gross $248.6 million worldwide against a mere $500,000 budget.
Avatar. You don't get to be the highest grossing film of all time without doing something right. Avatar, an original property. And the trick that they used was not burning out the marketing too soon. The film was set to be released in December 2009, and yet James Cameron knew he could wait until the last possible minute to drop any sort of concrete visuals. Why? Because Avatar was so anticipated that its mystery perpetuated its popularity better than anything he could have put into the atmosphere. Details of James Cameron's filming process made this the first film that was a must-see in 3D, considering Cameron created a new camera rig that would allow filmmakers to create actual 3D films and not just shallow-up conversions. What's more, Cameron started the trend of invite-only events that fans could attend in order to get a sneak peek of the film's content, and at the same time as all of that, a standard theatrical trailer and information on the film's toy and video game campaigns were also revealed to propel this unknown property from its shroud of mystery to mass public consciousness.
I Love You, Beth Cooper. Don't feel bad if you haven't heard of this 2009 romantic comedy, nor the woefully misguided marketing ploy Fox cooked up to try and promote the film among graduating teenagers. The film's plot revolves around a high school valedictorian, Dennis Kuverman, who uses his graduation speech to declare his love for his longtime crush, Beth Cooper. Fox figured the best way to sell the movie to this age group was to pay a real Los Angeles valedictorian, Kenya Mejia, $1,800 to reenact the scene by professing her love for a fellow student while name-dropping the movie. The speech was recorded by the marketing firm in intentionally low quality to make it seem more convincingly real when it was posted online. But alas, the video failed to gain traction online, and more than 11 years later has still only amassed around 35,000 views. That ain't good. Beyond this, the film itself was both a critical and commercial dud, failing to recoup even its modest $18 million budget.
Tron Legacy. For a cult classic over 20 years old, Tron had an uphill battle when it came to securing and expanding its legacy. While games and comics had tried to expand the world, nothing really seemed to catch fire. That all changed at Comic-Con 2008, when a test reel for Tron 2 was snuck into the Disney Walt Pictures presentation reel for that year's show. The audience reaction to this clip was insane. Geeks seemed to have the sequel they'd waited decades for finally on the horizon. The next year at Comic-Con, the Flynn Lives viral campaign began with fans tracking down the mysterious location of a pop-up Flynn's arcade. From that point on, the viral went online with more games that lead to more meetups and more material to create a world where Kevin Flynn was missing and his son was the prankster in charge. Avatar may have reached out to the fans by inviting them to see clips of the heavily guarded film, but Tron Legacy upped the game by showing the whole film. Disney ran limited advanced screenings of Tron Legacy in IMAX 3D theaters. This took full advantage of the unique format, as well as the fact that most of the exterior action shots in the digital world were filmed with full IMAX ratio. Throw in Daft Punk on the soundtrack and you've got a hit.
The Emoji Movie. It is fitting that a movie as sublimely terrible as the Emoji Movie would have an equally awful marketing campaign. But to their dubious credit, Sony went all out to ensure audiences of all persuasions at least knew about the film. If having star T.J. Miller parasail into the 2017 Cannes Film Festival wasn't insane enough, Sony invoked the ire of the internet when they later made a parody poster for the film in the vein of the TV show The Handmaid's Tale. Many expressed dismay at Sony willingly linking their family-friendly animated film to an incredibly serious TV show with themes of rape and misogyny. Beyond that, observers also questioned what sort of crossover audience Sony really envisioned between the two IP. Amid the backlash, Sony quickly deleted the poster, though of course it lives on in infamy regardless. Yet despite the overwhelming dislike for both the marketing and the movie itself, the Emoji Movie still cleared $217.8 million worldwide against a $50 million budget. The Carrie. Horror movies are always ripe for a viral marketing campaign, and one of the more hilariously weird efforts in recent times was for Sony's rather mediocre 2013 Carrie remake. This viral video saw a coffee shop rigged up for a prank on unsuspecting customers, in which a woman would appear to use telekinetic abilities against a man who spilled her coffee, throwing him against the wall, moving chairs, and knocking books off the shelves with only her mind. It's an extremely entertaining video, to be fair, and one which racked up almost 1 million views on the very same day it dropped. To date, the video has more than 70 million views, which is decidedly more than the movie itself, which pulled in a modest $85 million at the box office. Though Carrie 2013 has long been forgotten, this prank continues to live on as a YouTube fave.
The Avengers. Sometimes you need to pull out all the bells and whistles to market a film as ambitious as the first Avengers. Sometimes, if you're lucky, all you have to do is make a good series of movies to precede it. The Avengers was simultaneously the hardest and yet the easiest film to market. The hardest because these heroes were freshly minted in the movie public's eyes and still relatively untested, but the easiest because it came after a run of pretty successful superhero films. You could say the same for the later ensemble-driven MCU outings, but the first Avengers is where it really had to come together. This, right here, this is where the MCU became the biggest media franchise on Earth. Starting with an end credit tag included with Iron Man, the Avenger initiative became a driving through line through all other Marvel films. This led to characters from other films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe popping up where they weren't expected. Hey kids, Tony Stark's going to recruit the Hulk, whose hammer fell to Earth in New Mexico, drawing the attention of our intrepid Agent Coulson. Was that really Captain America's shield that Tony used to prop open his generator? Easter eggs, direct references, and post-credit tag sequences all built this universe where superheroes were drawn together out of the woodwork. In the end, it seems like the best marketing campaign you can get is just a crap ton of great films, introducing a bunch of A-list beloved celebrities, and then slamming them all together in one huge feature.
Deadpool. How many movie marketing campaigns do you know that even have their own Wikipedia page? That's how extensively the Merc with a Mouth took over the internet in the months leading up to Deadpool's release, with Fox allowing Ryan Reynolds to have intimate input on how the film was sold around the world, appearing in most of the bespoke viral content himself. Though the campaign as a whole was full of the expected R-rated Deadpool snark, it confounded expectations for how blockbuster movies are promoted in a number of ways. From making a testicular cancer PSA, to having Deadpool hang out with Manchester United and Betty White, murdering Mario Lopez, and even erecting billboards which promoted it in the style of a romantic comedy. Due to the film releasing just before Valentine's Day, Reynolds & Co. ensured to cover every possible aspect of the customer base. With its irreverent, self-aware tone, Deadpool's marketing was a perfect primer for the movie itself, and is widely credited with propelling it to such unexpected box office glory, grossing a staggering $782.6 million worldwide against a mere $58 million budget. Gotti. John Travolta's gangster biopic Gotti opted for the bold marketing strategy of basically insulting anybody who dared criticize it. After the film scooped an impressively awful 0% tomato meter score, Studio Movie Pass Ventures began to air ads jokingly declaring that the critics put out the hit, while also insisting that audiences loved the movie and the critics were trolls behind a keyboard. MoviePass was also accused of creating false accounts to raise the movie's audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, which was suspiciously high compared to its critical consensus. Despite boldly engaging with incensed critics, the plan backfired spectacularly, as Gotti barely recouped half of its $10 million budget, while also later receiving 6 Razzie nominations, including Worst Picture, Worst Director, and Worst Actor for Travolta. At least they tried though, right?